Hello everyone, welcome back to my English Stories Learning channel. Let's learn and practice to get more and more better results.
Hello, my name is Emma, and in today's video I am going to teach you a pronunciation trick. So many of you know that in English, sometimes the way we spell words is different from the way we say words. So today we are going to talk about how to pronounce ious. Ious is a suffix. That means it comes at the end of a word. I often hear many learners making mistakes with the pronunciation of ious. So we're going to talk about how do we pronounce this sound, or how do we pronounce this set of letters. So let's get started. So I have here 3 words. I want you to listen very carefully, and I want you to tell me, for ious, am I pronouncing it as ious, or am I pronouncing it like shus? Okay, so listen very carefully to these 3 words. The first word is anxious. Anxious. What do you think you hear? Do you hear ious, like eus, or do you hear shus? Anxious. If you said this, the second part, or the second answer, you are correct. Ious in this word is pronounced as a shus, anxious. So this is very different from how we spell this word. If you looked at the spelling, you might think it was pronounced as ious, but in fact we pronounce it as shus. What about the next word? Cautious. Cautious. Do you hear eus, or do you hear shus? Cautious. The answer is, again, the second. We pronounce the ious like shus. All right, let's look at the third word now. Spacious. Spacious. So what do you hear in this one? Do you hear cius, or do you hear shus? Spacious. Again, the answer is the second one. We pronounce cious as shus. So what is the rule here? When do we pronounce words as ius, and when do we pronounce words like shus? We pronounce words that have ious, like shus, when there is a C, a T, or an X before the I. So in this case, we have an X, okay, so it meets our rule. So we pronounce this like shus. In this case, we have a T before our I. Again, we pronounce this like shus because there's a T. Here we have a C. Before ious, if you have a C, you pronounce it like shus. And we are going to do a lot of practice on this in a moment. But the main thing I want you to remember for now is that with these letters, C, T, and X, we pronounce ious as shus. So I'm just going to mark that off. What about other words or other letters? Well, let's think about this. So again, I have ius and I have shus. I want you to listen carefully and decide, what am I pronouncing? The first word is devious. Devious. Do you hear eus at the end, or do you hear shus? Devious. Okay, you probably heard this one, and that's correct. What about curious? Curious. Again, we hear e-us. Why are we not saying it like shus? Well, it's because the letter before the I is not a C, it's not a T, and it's not an X. So this is the rule for all other letters. So the ones you really need to pay attention to are the C, the T, and the X. If it's a different letter, we pronounce it as ES. Okay, so that's a lot, but now we are going to practice. And this is an important lesson because if you realize that ious can be pronounced like shus, this can help you with your spelling. You'll start to notice patterns and your pronunciation will become a lot better. So now let's look at some more examples of this. Okay, so now let's look at some more examples. So I have here a word, conscious. And again, if you don't know these words, that's okay. The focus of today is pronunciation. So you might not understand these words, but the main focus is how do we say words with ious. So the first word, conscious. How do we pronounce the ious? Well, our first question is, what comes before ious? If there's a C, a T, or an X, we pronounce it like shus. If it's a different letter, we pronounce it like ious. So what do you think we pronounce it? How do you think we pronounce it? Well, you see that there's a C, so that means we pronounce it like shus. So the C-I-O-U-S has a sh sound, like you're telling someone to be quiet, sh. And then we have a short U sound, shus, and an S at the end. So let's say this one together. Conscious, conscious, conscious. Okay, excellent. Now let's go to the next word. Okay, so we have here the word vicious, vicious. So the first question is, you look for the ious. It has ious. What is the letter that comes before ious? Is it one of our special letters? Is it a C, a T, or an X? It's a C. So what does that mean? That means we need to pronounce C-I-O-U-S like shus. Vicious, vicious. Sharks are vicious. Okay, so that's an example. Let's go to the next word. This is a word I hear many learners use. You might have used this word before. Now we're going to find out, have you been pronouncing this word correctly? Or maybe you've been making a mistake. Let's find out. So the first thing we do when we see a word like this is we look for ious. Okay, we got it, ious. And does it have one of our special letters? Yeah, it does. It has a C. So what does that mean? Do we say delicious or do we say delicious? Do we have a SH sound in here? We do. We say delicious. So we're pronouncing it like this, delicious. Let's say this one more time together because this is a very common word. Delicious. Excellent. All right. The next word we have is this one. We look, does it have ious? Yes, it does. And then we look at the letter before ious. Okay, it's a V. Is V one of our special letters? It's not a C, it's not a T, and it's not an X. So what does that mean? We pronounce it like ious, ious. So let's say the word previous, previous. So we're pronouncing it like this, previous. All right, the next word, various. Again, we look at the ending, it's our ious ending. We look to see what the letter is before ious. It's an R. It's not one of our special letters, so we pronounce it like this, various, various. All right, the next word is a long word, so this might be a harder word. Again, we use the same rules. We look to see if there's ious. There is. We look at the letter before ious. It's a T. Is T one of our special letters? It's not a C. T. It is a special letter. So this means we need to pronounce TIOUS like shus. So how do we say this word? It's a long word. We say superstitious. Superstitious. So it has 4 parts. Superstitious. Shus. So again, we have this shus at the end. The next word, precious. I might have given it away. What do you think it is? Well, we look to see what the letter is before ious. It's a C. Is that one of our special letters? It is. So we know we need to pronounce it like this, shus. Precious. Precious. If you like the movie Lord of the Rings, you might know that the ring is called precious by one of the characters. My precious, he always says. The last word is obvious. So we look at the letter before ious, it's a V. It's not one of our special letters, which means we pronounce it ious. Obvious. Obvious. And there you have it. What I recommend you do is you practice pronouncing the words that you use the most. So this is the rule, but if you use words like delicious, superstitious, anxious, more than other words, those are the words you should focus on. And again, when you find a new word that ends in ious, I recommend looking at the letter before the I, and that will help you decide how to pronounce ious. So thank you so much for watching this video.
Please subscribe to be updated with new videos. Thanks for watching. Please share and like if you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.